Welcome aboard, folks. I'm Stephen Malkowich, your captain on this adventure called Ship of Fools. I'm a fool. Lucky for you, I'm not sailing solo. Join me and a boatload of people, all just trying to make sense of this crazy world. It's a fabulous mess, and you're invited. Welcome to Ship of Fools, where wit meets wisdom. Once again, the wonderful thing about this podcast is that I have the opportunity to speak to people and to cover topics that I want to talk about and I'm curious about. And I would like to welcome Sage the Wolf Johnson back to the studio.
Feels good to be back.
Thanks, brother.
Of course, brother.
Now, for people that are listening or watching for the first time, we had Sage on a month or so ago, and that was right after he had won the Buckskin Glove Classic, which was a big accomplishment at the River Rock Casino. And we had Sage on with O'Neill Mendoza from Mendoza Boxing, who was his trainer. And we were so moved, my wife and I were so moved that we invited both of you on because I was like a fanboy talking, and I learned so much about Sage, you as a boxer, and I learned so much about boxing. But in the interim, I also I took a greater interest in it, and so much so that I wanted to know more about Sage himself, and took it upon myself to visit the facility where he trains, met his trainers, spoke to some other individuals that knew him, and then had a further discussion. But this all was precipitated by a discussion that we had at the end of the last podcast, where you told us, both of you had said that you were on the road to the Canada Cup, which was being in Calgary. Mm-hmm. And then I found out that you were unable to go because of lack of funds. Mm-hmm. And I got a little upset because I felt it, and you didn't know me from anyone, but I would have given you the money for that because you impressed me so much. Okay. And that's just a precursor to this discussion that we're going to have. And we got into the sustenance, or what drives a fighter and what like your life is like. And then we decided to bring you back on because you told me when we met at the gym, you told me your story. Mm-hmm. And it was compelling. It was very compelling, and it moved me. It really moved me. And I said after that discussion, like, we got to figure out a way to support this kid because he's what one of your coaches said about you was that you were a lion in the ring and you were the nicest guy outside, and all the kids looked up to you. All those little kids in that gym there, which gave me goosebumps, looked up to you as someone that they wanted to emulate. And when I hear that from somebody else, I go, okay, that's someone that deserves our support. So Sage, welcome. Okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's start off with, I want you to talk about your life, and let's and I know there's some things that you may or may not want to discuss, but let's start from the very beginning.
It was a pretty rough upbringing. Me and my mom, we didn't have much money. We'd always rely on food banks, and we'd eat rice and fried bologna. We didn't necessarily have much. When we had flour, we tried to make pancakes. We ate whatever we can. Right, my mom did whatever she could to support me. But it was rough, but she did whatever she could because she ended up having me really young, and it was just a lot of unfortunate things were to happen. But she kept it together for me, my brother, and we also housed our cousins at the time. So we had two of our cousins, and then later on we had two more cousins live with us they're living with my mom right now. So it's it was really tough. We didn't really come from money or anything, but we had whatever we had. Mm-hmm. So we were just surviving pretty much throughout all the time until I got up until like 15, where I was trying to like rely on football to get me out to like scholarships, because I was really good at football, so I was kind of relying
This is
on
in
that.
Surrey.
Yeah,
This is in Surrey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So where I was trying to rely on like the scholarships and all that to get sent out to like a couple places in the States, in York University. So I was trying to kind of rely on that. I was trying to be, and I'm still trying to be, the one to kind of like not break the generational curse, but more or less be the one that brings in the cash cow, right, for my family and for my son.
And you have a son.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a son. And how old is your son?
He's 2. He's going to be 3 in June.
And he's the most important thing to you.
The most important is he's one of the main reasons why I like survive in that ring and just have the pure grit. In that ring.
I asked you this question, and I don't know if you remember when we were sitting in the gym. I said, "Why do you fight?"
For my son.
Yeah,
because I know like boxing, I'm fairly good at it, right? But I know everything that like I'm chasing my dreams in boxing, which is to be a professional and to be on like the big stages and to like be an Olympic athlete. But it's also to show my son that like I'm chasing my dreams. I can be the male role model that he needs in his life, right? A really good father for him. And everything that like comes in boxing, right? Like the money, and eventually further down the road, like I can give that to him, and he won't have to worry about skipping meals or not having enough money for sports, right? He will have everything that I can be able to give him.
And you're trying, and I don't want to put words into your mouth, Sage, but what you were trying to articulate was that generational cycle when you talk about that of poverty.
Yeah.
And trying to get, and people, a good percentage of the population that have, I was very fortunate growing up. I had a mother and I had a father. I had a positive male role model, and I had a positive female role model in my life all the way through. And I didn't really truly appreciate that till I was like 45, 50 years old. I didn't realize how important that was. And I really don't, when people say, well, you need a mother and a father, I kind of take a little bit of a turn on that, and I say, you need a positive male role model in your life, and that could be your grandfather, that could be whoever it is. And you have to have a positive female role model in your life, whoever that is. It should be, preferably it would be your mother, and preferably it would be your father, but we don't live in a perfect world. And so what you're saying is that you want to break out of that generational cycle of poverty that you grew up in, and life wasn't easy. Life wasn't easy. And you looked at football as an option, and through circumstances that in essence were beyond your control, but you found boxing. And by the way, my opinion is that boxing suits you far better than football.
I love it so much. No, not as much like injuries, because it's like in football, I had 4 knee surgeries, all on one leg.
Yeah,
it's all because of like the different like hits that I took to the leg. So I was like, oh my goodness, and like every injury required a year of rehab and recovery. So it's like in boxing, like I don't necessarily have to worry too much about that.
Yeah, it's just when the game's on, the game's on.
Yeah,
and it is so. Let's continue on. You grow up in Surrey. You go through grade school, and you say like about 14, 15 is when things and you had extended family living with you too.
Yeah.
Food security wasn't like it. You didn't know you were eating, whatever you could get. You were relying on food banks. Like when you hit those years, 14, 15, what started to?
Oh man, 14, 15 was a really, really hard time for me, especially like me. Like I was trying to there was like a falling out in the house. So I decided to leave the house, and I ended up, being homeless for a good amount of time. And then I ended up staying with that person during that time. But like in those times, it was like extremely rough. So like I had to do whatever I can for food, for water, for like anything, and like how I get to school.
And you were still going to school?
I was still going to school. So I'd shower in the showers. I'd wake up early enough to go there in the morning to shower. Like it was like I would try to do anything I can to better myself, as well as like build myself to be able to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like football was my get out.
Mm-hmm.
But then sadly enough, I couldn't continue in football because of the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was stuck.
Mm-hmm. But you still were going. The thing is that even though at that time when you're home, you're still going to school.
Mm-hmm.
You still went to school.
Yeah.
And did you finish school?
I did.
You finished.
I did.
Okay.
Honor roll. Thank you.
Like this kid, like I'm that this is the story here, Sage. This is what I want to hear, and I want people to hear about you. Okay, so you finish school, and what happens after you finish school?
After I finished school, I was pretty much like doing like a lot of like retail jobs. So I was like a assistant manager out in like Champs Sports in downtown, and I was still kind of trying to find an outlet because I didn't have anything. Like all I had was a gym, and even then it wasn't enough. So I was really trying to like figure out like what do I need for me. And then I ended up running into my first mixed martial arts coach, and he's the one that kind of taught me how to how to move, how to strike. And then eventually I found O'Neill. Well, I found Jerry first at WKX, which again, he's also a very great coach. But I didn't necessarily feel like I had the belief in me, right? I felt like there was some other fighters that was kind of like prioritized. But in terms of like when I found O'Neill, he believed in me, right? Him and the rest of all the partners I have, right? The sparring partners, like it was a building community. It's just like, we believe that you can make it this far, and we believe in you. Right? And it's not just me, but it's like every other fighter that they have in the gym. So it's like no specific favorites. They're building every single person.
And they're built. The thing I noticed about, being in that gym was the sense of community that I felt.
Yeah.
And I've never, I'll call it out. I'll be honest here and say, I saw there, there's Asian kids in there boxing.
Yeah.
Which just complete, like, what do I know? And I'm standing there and I'm going, I thought the Asian parents were waiting for the bus while I was standing outside. They weren't. Their little kids were in there taking boxing.
Yeah.
And I went, wow, that's fantastic. And I walk into that gym and it's like, it was, I'm not going to say it was like kindergarten or anything, but it was like a sense of community.
Yeah.
And I went, man, these kids are having fun. They're enjoying themselves. And I had a chance to talk to a couple of your coaches too. And then when that ended, and then you came in and I saw all the little kids looking at you, I was going, hey man, like, okay, I get it here. This is I get this. I understand this. I see what's happening here. And that made me I had goosebumps from that. And then we proceeded to have this conversation, but I'm taking up too much of the airtime here talking. I want you to keep on. I want you to, so you finish up school, you got a couple, you're bouncing around with retail jobs, and then you start, did you initiate the martial arts thing, or like, did somebody say, hey man, this is something you should get? Like, how did that happen?
I was at Anytime Fitness. It was like late. It was like after my shift. So it's like I'd go to my work and then I'd finish work at like 10, sometimes like 9, 10 around. And then I'd go to the gym at Anytime Fitness. So I was there late and I ended up running into a martial arts coach. And because I just, when I go to the gym, I say hi to a lot of people there, especially if I see you like on a regular basis. I'm like, oh, hey, like, how you doing? Like, oh, like, hey, it's a good lift, brother. Like, all of that. So I try to have like a good community at wherever I go. So I was having a conversation with this mixed martial arts coach, and I was more or less, I was like, oh, like, I've been kind of thinking, like, I kind of want like an outlet, you know, like I've been trying to figure out what to do. I was like, I just finished football. I was like, I don't really know where I go from here. He's like, I train I'm trained mixed martial arts. I was like, I was like, should I? I was like, I don't really know. And then he's like, yeah, he's like, come look. He's like, I have 2 free classes. You can come whenever you want, right? I have these days free. And sure enough, my days were free on those days. So I decided to go, and then I fell in love with it. Like the first time I got hit, the first time I got kicked, I was like, wow. I was like, I like this. I was like, does that make me crazy?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I fell in love with it. So then I had that. And then after, like, we had a falling out over some nonsense. But then I was more or less trying to figure out, like, where I can go from there. And then that's when I found, like, just different gyms.
And had you, when from the mixed martial arts, and when you say different gyms, were you looking for other mixed martial arts gyms, or were you looking to box?
I had to look for just boxing, unfortunately.
Just boxing.
Because I did I did the whole Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, kickboxing, karate, Kyoshin karate. But I unfortunately had to give that all up because my leg just couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So like it kept popping, my knee kept popping out. And I was like, I need something. So I was like, I'm still good at boxing. I'm still good with my hands, and like I'm still good with my feet. So I was like, I could just move around. I was like, maybe just boxing. So then after that, I was like, I need to find different boxing gyms.
So that process, so you make that decision. You're still working. You're always working. You still gotta have you gotta put food on the table. You gotta pay rent. You gotta do all those kinds of things. And you find a boxing gym.
Yeah.
And you start with that boxing gym, and I don't want to put words into your mouth.
Yeah,
but
no worries.
You spoke highly of that boxing gym where you were before. What was that?
WKX.
WKX.
Jerry, yeah.
And you just it sometimes things it didn't feel right, and it was time to move on to somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's when I found
O'Neal. I found O'Neal. I found Ian, who's my sparring partner. I found Coach Michael, who's also the captain of our fight team. And it was so beautiful. Like I felt like this is where I need to be. This is where I belong. Because I've been trying to find fights for like forever, right? Especially when I like first initially started. So I couldn't find a fight. And I felt like no one was really looking for a fight from me. So then when I was telling Coach O'Neal and Coach Michael that like, hey, like I want to compete. I need to compete. Like I need that. And he was more or less telling me like, okay, we got you a fight in September. It's going to be a big tournament. It's provincial bronze gloves tournament. And I was like, okay, for my first fight? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, it's like they believed in me. So they find me like any fights. They don't believe that any opponent is stronger or better or more equipped than what I have. So it's like their sense of belief in me just gives me a whole different drive. As well as like I want to be able to come home with either like a medal, belt, or something that I can show my son. Because I have like a whole like little trophy case, and he goes, looks at it, and like sometimes he grabs it. It's like I take pictures. I absolutely love when he's there. So it means a lot to me. So like, and O'Neal alluded to this before when the two of you were on, in saying that it's not that he takes the fighters that no one else wants. It's that he sees something special in an individual, and pulls that out of them. And it's quite evident. You've been with him for just over 2 years? Over 2 years now.
Just over 2 years now. And that culminated with your win. And just, it was through serendipity, which is, just meant to be fate, whatever. We happened to be at that fight. And that moved us. It moved us. And it moved me to reach out and say, hey, man, come on board, come on the ship here, and let's talk about fighting.
Yeah.
Because I was really jazzed. And then the next step is coming out to see you and saying, okay, like I want to find out a little bit more about Sage, about Sage Johnson and his story, because I do, and I really mean this is that we need more heroes. We need more people to look up to. I know your son needs a father to look up to and say, hey, I want to be just, and you're attempting to break that where you came from, that cycle that you came from.
Yeah.
You're trying to make yourself, people say better. You're trying to lift yourself up.
Yeah.
What does better mean? Like you can talk about that till the cows come home, better. But what you're trying to do is you found boxing is an outlet and something that you're pretty goddamn good at. And you know that if you work at it, there's a dream, there's a goal, and this is what you're set on. But you also have somebody else in your corner, because nothing is ever accomplished in this life without help. You need help. Like you can't do it by yourself. You yourself said this when you were, you need to have somebody on your side setting up fights.
Yeah.
Like how do you, how if you don't have somebody doing that, how do you?
I can't find fights.
What are you going to do? Walk around bars?
I'm just under the radar.
Exactly.
At that
You're
point.
going to go from bar to bar and say, "Hey, is anybody ready to fight?" No, like what? That it's a silly thing to say, but it's true. You have to have somebody in your corner that's and not just set up fights, but set up fights that are right for you. And that's what you're working on. That's what you're doing with O'Neill and the team that you work with there. So let's take a step back. So a couple of 2.5 or so years ago, you start up with O'Neill.
Yeah.
And he gets you your first fight.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was the bronze glove.
Yeah, bronze gloves provincial tournament.
And
I there was a lot of people who were doubting me because it's like I had 0 fights, and it was a tournament. So it was a 2-day tournament, and I was lucky enough to have a bye on the first round, right? So I get to see who I'm possibly fighting for the finals. So I'm sitting there watching, and there's these 2 guys that are going at it, and like this guy knocks this guy out in like 15 seconds. And like I was just making a joke. I was like, "Can you imagine if I fight that guy tomorrow?" Like, And then they like call out his name, right? They call it Nathan Golem was his name, and I was like, "Oh my god, I am fighting that guy tomorrow." I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, That was like 15 seconds. I had nothing to watch. I was like, I had no time to study. I was like, okay. So then I got prepared, kind of like envisioned in my head how the fight would go, like several times, and then came to the fight. I came ready. Right. And then that's when I first made an appearance to everybody, because everybody thought he was going to win. He was going to knock me out just like he did to the other guy. And then I just brought him the fight. I was not losing. I was like, this is my first fight. I was like, I want to show people that like I'm here. So it was that fight, and I won it. And I was just ecstatic. And then after that, we found another fight. We found another fight not too long ago. And
so it made people, the boxing community, stand up and go, okay.
Yeah, like this he like, okay, he can fight. Like he's not just like, sure, he has 0 fights. Like this might be his first fight, but he fought.
And you won.
And I won.
And you won.
And then I continued, and then I had 5 fights, 5 or 6 fights. And we're like, okay, now it's time for provincials. Right. And usually with provincials, you have to be an open fighter, right? You have to have.
What does that mean?
It means you have to have like more than 10 fights.
Okay.
So I had half of that. So Sandeep, like O'Neill and Michael, they really pushed for me to be on to the provincials card, because I was 5-0 at that time. So I was like, okay, like I'm ready. Like I want to do provincials. I'm more than ready for that. Went to provincials and won it. So I really shocked the world. I was shocked the community because I was like, now I'm 6-0. I'm a I'm a provincial champion, and it's my first year competing. So then we go to nationals, right? And I only have 6 fights in nationals, and people thought I was gonna get killed over there because we're facing people who have like 30 fights, sometimes 60, like just other champions from other provinces, and I was facing the provincial champion of Ontario for my first round, and he had over 20 fights. So I was like, okay. I was like, this is gonna be interesting, right? I remember I was talking to the guy because we went in for weigh-ins, and because we had to do like the weigh-ins, the lineup, and all of that. So I remember I went in. He's like, you have 6 fights. He's like, are you feeling confident? I was like, more than confident. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna bring it to him. That was a great fight. It was another really hard fight, but I won it. And that's when I felt like I really made like an imprint to show everybody that like, yeah, like even I have less than 10 fights, I'm facing these challenges, but I'm the cream of the crop. I deserve to be up here with these guys. So I went in the next day for weigh-ins, and I see the same guy, and he's like, did you fight before? It's like because you just beat the provincial champion of Ontario with less than 10 fights. I was like, no, not competitively. Just the look of shock on his face. And that's what made me so happy, is because I love when people like doubt me. Like, because I've had a lot of people doubt me like throughout my entire life, whether it be football, boxing, trying to make ends meet with like financial needs or something. And I just always prevail. Always prevail. So,
well, you forgot you graduated from high school.
Yeah, I graduated.
That's right. No, you did, and that's like, under the circumstances, that's a phenomenal achievement. It is, So you thrive on people thinking, okay, well, you can't. You're not going to be.
He's not going to make it.
He's not going to make it.
Right. It was like, and I have so many things that push me to make me believe that I need to make it. Right. My son being the biggest one of them all. It's like, I need to make it for him. Right. My dreams and my goals. Like, I need to make it for me as well. And it's like, I want to be an inspiration, not just to like my son, but like to other kids, like to the community, to other like adults, like people like my age, at risk youth, anybody, right? Women too. It's like, I want to be able to teach them some self-defense, right? Because I feel like boxing for me has done so much for me in terms of like, I have a huge like self-confidence now. I have so much self-confidence, self-love, but I also have like this inner peace that I found in boxing that I didn't find in football. Because even before then, I was pretty aggressive. But that's because I felt like the whole world was against me. But now that I found boxing, it's like, it's a lonely sport. It was like, you have great teammates. So in boxing, it's like, I've done so much right now for boxing, and I would just want to continue to do that. Right? For me, for my son, for the community, for everybody at the gym. Right? I want to be a big name. I want to help push Mendoza out there, Mendoza's name out there, because he's a phenomenal coach.
And he's hilarious on social media.
He's so funny.
He's hilarious. He's hilarious. But the thing too with boxing is referred to as the sweet science. It's not just it's much different than football or a contact sport, like where it's just you and the other guy.
Yeah.
That's it, right? And you're going in there with an attitude, like you're talking about, when you're fighting the Ontario champ and you won, and there's a little bit of maybe a trash talk and that kind of stuff. Say, well, who are you, kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, when you're done that match, you're hugging each other. You're going. There's no animosity after it. It stays in the ring. Yeah, it stays in the ring, and it's tactical. It's really tactical, because if you don't have a plan, well, if you don't at least have the semblance of a plan, you're horse shit. Like it's going to be over. But as Mike Tyson says, everybody goes into the ring with a plan until they get punched
to the face,
and that plan is right. So let's get back to Sage Johnson's story here. and continue on that. So you box. How many matches have you had now?
14 matches.
14 matches, and your record is
12-2.
12-2. And the last match that you had was at the Buckskin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so after you were in Ontario, where did you go after that? What were your next matches?
After my national fight?
Yeah.
So after the national fight in Ontario against the provincial champion of Ontario, I was fighting someone from Quebec, and I ended up losing that one, unfortunately, through a split decision. Actually majority decision. He actually won with a majority decision. So then me and the team, like, we had to make a whole plan to come back and really, like, kind of like figure out like what I was doing wrong. But like, I went there with a torn hamstring. So I went there, I torn my hamstring 2 weeks before the tournament. And I was sitting there like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to act like, because I had such a hard time moving like side to side, back and forth. So I had to sit in the pocket a lot of the times to really try to like hit those shots, try to hurt my opponent. Yeah. So it was like after that, we came back and we did a lot of like recovery work with my leg, because it was just going through the works. As well as like I had to go right back to my job the next day, which was roofing.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it was tough. So it's like I came back. The trip there was like, it was pretty pricey. Coach did cover a lot of it, which I'm super thankful for. But then it's like coming back, and it's like going right back to roofing job. It's like 12-hour days, and it's just hard labor. And then it's going from labor to the gym, labor, gym, and then doing whatever I can for like my son as well, like providing food for him, clothes, and everything, because he was like 1 at that time. So like he needed that care. Yeah. Oh my God, it was brutal.
So that was 3 years ago?
That was a year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you've had 14 fights. That's correct. And so in that interim, that period, what I want to talk about now, I want to, like, how, it's like it's not like boxing isn't like a lot of sports like hockey or like, I'll use hockey as a reference. Yeah. Okay. There's a system that everybody comes through. You start as a little tyke. You got to have money to play hockey too. It ain't cheap. There is no minor hockey anymore. It's all club hockey. And you pay to play. And if you're good, you make it to the next level, the next level, the next level, the next level. And you're receiving support from the hockey community or whatever the team is. And I sort of, before we went live here, I was telling you some stories about, I do have a lot of experience in the hockey world as well as in the softball world, because my daughter played competitive softball too.
Right.
When there's a young female or male that maybe doesn't have the means, the team will chip in because they're a good player and everybody wants to win. So there's that community. Now in boxing, it's a little bit different. Yeah. It's a lot different. Yeah. So what I want to talk about right now is making those ends meet on that road, Sage, that you're on. Okay. You explained to me, and then, you documented what you do and your regime and how you piece it all together. But I want anyone that listens or watches this, I want them to hear this story. I want them, I really do, because I believe in you. And everybody that's sitting in this room here believes in you too. And obviously O'Neill and his team believe in you. So let's talk about that. You're a single dad, right? Yeah. And you have a son?
I have a son, yeah.
And he's the most important thing to you. And you got to eat. Yeah. Okay. So what do you do?
It's tough. So right now I have 2 jobs, right? I do, 3. So I do training on Sundays and I do security work. So overnight security work. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I do more overnight security work Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
So it's like every day.
And during that whole period, though,
Yeah.
you're training too.
Yeah. So it's like the hours of sleep that I have or the hours of sleep I get is very minimal because I try to also maximize the time with my son as well as like just everything else. So like work, my son, my needs, which is like the gym. So every time I try to fit in the gym as much as I can to get to that next level of competitive, like the next level of boxing.
And it's not like and I don't I'm not going to say this is you're a shy you're somewhat of a shy guy, but you're not you're gregarious and you're charismatic, and maybe you don't realize how gregarious and charismatic you are. You have an aura about you. Your smile is special.
Thank you.
It is. It really is. And you're like you see your smile and you go, you know, I like that kid, man. And I look at you and I go, there is someone there that and I seen you fight, and I'll go back to it again with the whole production, the whole makeup of that evening and culminating. And I know maybe you don't want to visit this again, but you got knocked down.
Yeah.
And then you came back up and you freaking won.
It honestly, that feels like the story of my life. So like I've been knocked down so many times, rather be like through like surgeries, through injuries, through like financial needs, through skipping meals, skipping everything, through people doubting me, people kind of like throwing me to the side. So it's like I've been knocked down my whole life and I refuse to stay down. I will stand up for me and my son. Right? But
and those people that believe in you, man.
Exactly.
And that's your team at O'Neill Mendoza's team. Those guys, they believe in you. They talk very highly of you. They do. And there's a special aura there. And that's what I want to I want to tap into, and I want people to see that. I want people to, like, we need more guys and gals like you to say, hey man, like, I can do that. You get knocked down, are you going to get back up? Because a lot of people do get knocked down, and some choose to stay down. And you're not going to stay down. You're going to continue. You're going to continue on your way. So you're the prior to the buckskin.
yeah.
Talk about that. The fights where your fights were they all here in the Lower Mainland, or were you down in Washington State? Or
Yeah, most of my fights were all like local. So Vancouver, it's pretty much all local. Vancouver, Surrey, Burnaby, right? The only two fights that I've ever really been to that were like the first year nationals that I went to was in Ontario, Sarnia, and then the second nationals, which was in Winnipeg. So it's only been those two fights because I like throughout the whole year, like we tried going to Quebec Open last year and Calgary Cup last year too, but the same situation. I just didn't have the funds, and I can't miss work because if I miss work, then I'm gonna miss rent, and if I miss rent, I'm gonna lose my kid.
Yeah, and so you're in a situation where you need support, you need help, and that's the gist of what we're trying. The message that we're going to support you, we're going to help you out. I know you have the tournament coming up in Quebec. That's at the end of May, right?
Yeah,
coming up. And explain what that one is.
That one is an open international tournament. So the best fighters are coming to that tournament to box each other. So it gives like everybody
from all over from all over the world.
all over the world can come.
Okay.
Okay, Quebec Opens is probably one of the bigger tournaments.
Mhm.
So we got like usually three big tournaments throughout the years: Quebec Open, the Nationals, and Provincials is also another one. But the Calgary Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like those main four that are like the really, really, really big ones that get you recognized.
And I'll reiterate this. The impetus of this was that when you were on last, you were talking about, both of you were talking, and then I found out that you weren't going.
Yeah. And
you didn't know me. Like, you didn't know me. And if I would have known, I here you go. You know, I'll tell a little story about when the war broke out between Russia and Ukraine. I'm Ukrainian, okay, and I was getting some work done on my vehicle, and the guy who was doing the work on my vehicle, it was out in Langley, and he says to me, he sees my last name, and I could tell by his accent he was either Russian or Ukrainian. And he said, "Are you Ukrainian?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Do you have any relatives in Ukraine?" Because the war had just started.
Yeah.
And I said, "Not. I probably do, but I don't know them." I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "My wife's family's trying to get out of Ukraine because of the shit that was started." So I'm not bragging about. And I said, "What do you need, man?"
Yeah.
And I just went. I said, "Here." Now, I don't think he was bullshitting me.
Yeah.
But I believed it. Like, I went, this guy, seriously, this is serious shit here. And people need support. Like, what I mean is that when they need help, they need help.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't ask for it. Just like yourself. You need support, you need help. Okay. And when I found out that you weren't able to go, and I didn't realize how it worked, because I honestly never thought about it. I didn't. But, it's the same thing when you're playing like tournament hockey or baseball or whatever. You don't have money. You can't go travel. Yeah. You can't, and it takes money to do it. And what I want to ask you too is the question, like, at what level do you get where you start to get funding, like for Sport Canada, from the Canadian government, for instance?
For boxing?
For boxing.
If you place, I'm pretty sure, first or second, I think there's in the Nationals, I think then you get funding. But I don't know the dollar amount. All I know is that you possibly do get funding. Okay.
And the are other boxers are other boxers out there soliciting sponsorship? Are they always on, or do you just go?
We just go.
You just go.
Yeah. So like I would say like our coaches for pretty much our sponsorships. So like our coaches, like the staff and all that, they would pay for a lot of our trips to be able to get recognized. So Coach O'Neill and his wife pay a lot out of pocket for us to just go get seen, right? Coach Michael too. And it's like, cause they believe in us. They believe that we have what it takes to be on that pedestal, to be on that next level, and to be the next greats of Canada.
Yeah.
And another thing is, in BC, I don't think the boxers are funded, right, through like the government, but through like Quebec and I'm pretty sure Ontario. I'm not 100%, but I'm fairly certain, but they also get funding from their government.
But here in BC, you don't.
No.
You don't. Okay. Well, one of so you've got the big one was in Calgary, which you were unable to. You went last year. Did you go last year?
No,
you didn't. You couldn't both years. Okay. Yeah. So the big one coming up here in May is in Quebec. What's the next one after that?
The next one after that. So usually with June coming up, it's usually like kind of the off season. So like a lot of places in Canada that not too many fights, but like that's where we find fights in the States, right? We try to find fights anywhere just to kind of stay active, because come around September is provincials again,
Okay.
And
And you
then
want to be tight for that. You want to be
Yeah.
good for that. You want to be ready for that.
and then around November is the next nationals.
Okay. So you want, and this whole cycle here that we're talking about is 2026 now. You're working towards 2028,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So what we want to do is you need sponsorship, you need help, you need financial help to be able to first of all to get to Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's what we're going to help you with. Okay. But if anybody, like, and I don't want to cut, if there's more that you like, more of your story that you want to tell, I don't know if there is, feel free. Like, feel free.
I mean, the only thing that really comes to mind is like when we would like my training days before, because I used to work in very intense labor jobs, so like roofing and fencing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like after some of those long days, because again they're like 10, 12-hour days, and like sometimes some of the sites would be up in North Vancouver and all that, and like I'd have to drive, and I'd have to go right to boxing, like
Right after.
zero food in me, like zero, nothing. Right, it was like I had 1 or 2 pack lunch, but like even then it's like all the intense labor that we have to do, because we're digging, we're like carrying out, like it was just grimy work, right? I don't feel like laborers also get enough respect for the jobs that they do, because it's
somebody's got to do
job.
Somebody's got to do it, right? Somebody's got to do it.
So like I'm all like my bones and everything's like aching, and it was like I need to find the energy to do an hour and a half.
Yeah.
With boxing and spar all these great athletes too. So it's like, oh my God.
So is everyone in that's in your position, like in I'll say, like, there's specific provincial, like there's different provinces and they might be funding their boxers, but in BC we don't. But if you finish 1 or 2 in nationals, you'll get some funding. But are all the boxers that are trying to make it here in this province, they all face the same thing? It's all like it's by hook or by crook. You just scrape by, and you just pray and work hard and hope that'll come.
Yeah, it sucks though, because it's like I remember there's a lot of times where like I'd skip like a lot of meals to save money for trips, and it's like some of those trips I like really have to dig down. It's like, oh, am I gonna make rent when I'm back? Am I gonna? And it's not like I'm bad with budgeting or financing. It's like I'm fairly good. It's just a matter of having a kid, a job, and trying to be successful in boxing. And it's like it's suffocating a little bit, but it's like. But it's like I'm also like right there. Like 2028, the next Olympics is like right there.
Yeah.
And it's like then I can go professional right after. So it's like right. My dream and everything is right there. Being able to like either be in the ring and be on television for the Olympics, to be able to show my son, it's like, yes, I've been there. I've been there. I've done all of these things, and everybody tried keeping me down, right? And it's like, I can show my son, yes, this is the way. Like I did it through help. I did it with a team.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't just do it by myself, but being able to do something while everybody else was trying to keep me down.
Okay. So Sage, if people wanted to reach out to you directly, to help you out, okay, whatever that support would be, how would they do that? What's your Instagram? Like, would Instagram be the best route to go? Because what's your handle?
Yeah, I would say Instagram would be the best. My handle is Sage Johnson the Wolf
on Instagram. Okay, and he does respond to his direct messages. You do, and even if you wanted to, Mendoza Boxing Club, which is out in Surrey in Fleetwood. Like if you were to wanted to go by that boxing club and O'Neill is there all the time, and single Sage out and say, hey man, this is somebody I want to meet, I want to support. I think you're the real deal, my man. I do.
Thank you.
And I believe in you. I do. And I think you need not only that, I want, I'm looking at your glasses here, man. And I brought that up, and I got to bring it up because we don't, we talk honestly here on this, we may be a ship of fools here, but we're wise. And I noticed that you wear glasses, and the last couple of times I've seen you, you've been wearing glasses. You have explain your eyes.
So what I have is called keratoconus. I got it in both eyes, unfortunately. So my eyes are deteriorating. It's like like when your cornea is supposed to be like smooth, mine comes out in like a cone shape. So it makes like at night, I'm like blind as a bat. Without my glasses, it's like really, really, really bad. So my eyes are deteriorating right now. Unfortunately, it's not covered like medically. So the operation itself was even too much. So it's like I opted on not going with the operation because there's just so much. So
yeah.
But yeah, so like when I get in the ring, it's like sometimes it's like very blurry or fuzzy.
But you also said, you made a comment, that's why you get in tight.
That's why I get it tight. That's why I love the inside fighting.
And you kill.
Yeah. A lot of it is based off of like reflexes and like instincts. So like when I'm like inside, it's like just reflex, reacting, not even necessarily thinking, just going.
So that's a fantastic story. Like it is. I'm not happy because you have that eye condition, but you're overcoming that by adapting your technique, which is fantastic. Like you've had to do pretty much all your life. So shout out again if you want to reach out. It's Sage the Wolf, Sage Johnson the Wolf. Okay, on Instagram. It's O'Neill Boxing Club, and you Google them. But I'm telling you, and I mean this when I say this, and our audience isn't that huge, man, but we do have a lot of social media out there. We pound it out there. We're growing, okay? And part of our growing is by showing the community that we give a shit and we care about guys like you, female girls like you too, that are trying to break that cycle.
Yeah.
And get out there, and I do believe in you, Sage. I really mean that. I think, and what do I know? I'm not a professional boxer, but I've seen you fight. I've met you. I've talked to people that know you. You're a stand-up guy. You want to be you are a good father. You love your son. And you, everything that you do, when I asked you about why you fight, I'm not saying there was a right answer or there was a wrong answer. It was just the answer. And that's what I needed to hear. And I thank you for coming out, man.
Thank you for having me.
And I appreciate you. And I wish you nothing but the best. Like I said, we're going to help you out. We're going to help you get to Quebec. And I'm going to do whatever else I can to help you along that path. And I like ultimately, I would love to see this culminate with you at the Olympics holding a gold medal for Canada, man.
I want that so bad. I need that.
So having said that, thank you, Sage. I appreciate you for coming out. Ship of Fools, where wit meets wisdom here. We have the opportunity to be able to discuss this, to talk about it, to get this story out there. And I think it was very important for everyone to hear this story. And I hope more people reach out to you and help you out. This isn't a charity thing. This is not a charity thing. This is a community thing. And this is the kind of thing that we need to get behind. We need our heroes. We need to have people ascend to a level that we look up to and emulate. And one of those people is your son. Okay. But there's a lot of other people. And I've seen those little kids in the gym too look up to you, man. Okay. I appreciate you, brother.
Of course, man.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You may be asking yourself, what's any of this got to do with me? Absolutely nothing. Until next time.